It doesn't matter how you feel about war movies. You go to the theater and watch 1917. It is unlike any movie you have ever seen.
On the big screen,
Yes, definitely
Make
watch it
sure you watch
in the
it.
theater.
Bring a box of tissues because you will cry. You've been warned. 1917 is directed by Sam Mendes, who is best known for directing American Beauty and Skyfall. This film follows two soldiers during World War I, played by Dean Charles Chapman and George McKay, as they try to deliver this vital message to another battalion, and they're traveling through trenches and fields and all sorts of obstacles, dead bodies, in one of the most visceral and palpable movie experiences that I have had this year. Sure.
Absolutely. This is a movie that is, when I said at the beginning that this was different, I mean different in terms of how immersed you get because of how they shot this movie.
Yes.
I mean, we normally don't start off with the techniques, but let's do it.
The long tracking shot.
Yep.
That basically is the entire movie.
Right.
We counted how many cuts? Maybe 3 or 4?
3 or 4 that were pretty obvious. I'm sure there was some more that they masked.
But this movie seems like one long seamless tracking shot that basically follows these two soldiers. Sometimes it becomes like a follow shot, and you really become immersed in this experience. It's like you're right there with them during the war, and it is so astonishingly done and mesmerizing, and I was transfixed watching this movie, and it is one of my favorite movies of the year.
Yeah, going back to how this tracking shot really brings you in, a lot of video gamers will be able to relate to what we're saying because it felt like kind of Call of Duty and then those war games.
Or Halo even.
Yeah. It feels like you're discovering new areas and new rooms as you go with these guys, and there's danger around every single corner.
Yes.
Let me tell you, I went into this movie thinking, oh, it's just another war movie, but like I said, unlike anything you've ever seen, you guys need to watch this on the big screen.
Oh, and then you have, of course, Roger Deakins' cinematography, on top of all of that. Best known for his work in Blade Runner 2049, Academy Award winner.
Sicario.
Yeah, and
Shawshank Redemption.
I mean,
all these other movies.
He has such an amazing talent at making every single scene look eye-poppingly attractive, and his he can make you feel like you're in hell, like he conveys this like hellish imagery, and at the same time he can make you feel like you're just in a beautiful landscape, filled by beautiful nature,
Right, because the camera movements are very smooth, very seamless, and it takes you from one environment to suddenly another. So you take this journey with these guys, and you feel like you're step for step, even experiencing all the emotions that they're feeling.
I mean, yeah, talk about a movie that makes you feel such an emotional connection to these actors, especially when you don't really know a whole lot about them.
Absolutely.
And this movie is not really heavy, as we talked about before, on characterization or plot. But it's a movie more about the feeling that it evokes through the cinematography and the camera work, and it is brilliant.
Absolutely. Like Bethel said, this movie does not dive deeply into characterization like a lot of other dramas do, but it does evoke, I would argue, like the same type of emotional response.
Absolutely.
Through its intimate camera tracking, the sound, and the music. The visual storytelling was just as important as any other aspect of this movie.
Talk about a sense of realism, like it's astonishing, and you can tell that the filmmakers really took their time in planning out this set design ahead of time. I'm sure that they build models, to really plan all of this out, because it is amazing.
Now, beyond all the bells and whistles, the flash and awe, this movie obviously has a lot of heart to it. Lance, for example, one of the main characters, he has enough war stories for 3 lifetimes.
Yeah.
And really, this movie tells about how the atrocities and the indifference of war can change a person from one direction to another in just an instant. And for all of this movie gets my golden seal of approval. Go watch it. It is 5 reels strong.
5 reels.
Yep, 5 reels.
Yes. This movie is so good. I mean, what a powerful message about the will to survive. And I haven't been so emotionally touched all year long. Well, maybe Marriage Story a little bit, but man, this movie just was a gut punch. And I cried in a couple of really crucial, like, emotional scenes.
Yes, I teared up too. I teared up.
And yeah, it's just, and then, you know, Chapman and McKay are both incredible actors, and really they're new actors, you know, so they did an incredible job considering that they're fairly new. So I absolutely agree with your rating. This is a 5 reel movie, 5 out of 5, no doubts about it. One of the best films of the year. Don't miss it. Go watch it at your nearest Alamo Drafthouse. Great place to watch movies. As always, look us up on social media. We're on Facebook at Real Screeners and Instagram real.screeners.
Now, this movie obviously was one of our favorites of the year, but make sure you let us know down below. Do you agree with us, or do you think maybe, I don't know, Dark Phoenix was the best movie of the year?
Ridiculous.
I know, right? Let us know, guys, and of course, tune in, as always, to our next Real Take on Movies.
Dean Charles Chapman and George McKay. Dean Charles Chapman and George McKay. Dean Charles Chapman and George McKay. Who? Dean Charles Chapman and who? George McKay. Dean Charles Chapman and George McKay. This film stars George Chapman George and Wallace Gromit and Wallace Gromit.
George Wallace. Like Beto said, this movie doesn't dive deeply into characterization like I was watching the whole movie like this. Seriously.
Set designs seemed stunningly authentic and meticulously detailed.
Okay.
Those set designs. Delicious. The set designs were absolutely detailed and meticulously
line. The visual storytelling was just as important as any other aspect in this movie.
Yeah, man, I mean, those set designs, man.
Delicious, man.